What are the devastating consequences of using advanced technology by the radicalized group in the Middle East? I mean, what consequences can it have for the future conflicts in this region?
Yeah, thank you, Elias. I think it speaks to a broader trend in that states no longer have a monopoly on the use of violence. In 20, 30 years ago, the concern was that nuclear technology or small nuclear weapons would fall into the hands of non-state actors. And now I think it's even more profound, because if you think about the potential for nuclear devices to be used by non-state actors and combine that with other forms of technology, whether it's AI or other kinds of disruptive technologies, it becomes even more lethal. So the ability to govern the proliferation, not just of devices, but actually the technology itself, is a problem that's going to face the region, but it's particularly profound, particularly now that we see Syria has collapsed in terms of the government. The potential for proliferation of different technologies to non-state actors, both now in Syria and Iraq, increases. So I think it's increasingly important.
That was very brilliant and informative. And the next question follows that I want you to explain shortly about this pager incidents in Lebanon, and how do you relate this incident to the theme of our conference, because we're dealing with the role of AI and technology in international relations, and there's security issues which can be categorized under this general term of, international relations. Do you think it was more a technological advanced movement, carried out by the Israelis, or it was just a simple, a warfare tactic?
Yeah, I think one of the themes that I have emphasized here at the conference is that one way to be thinking about AI and thinking about technology in the international relations is whether it's part of a strategic logic of the various actors. And I think one of the things that was profound about the pager incident in Lebanon, you're talking about the manipulation by Israel of the pagers. They went into the supply chain, they went into the programming of the devices and the implantation of explosive devices into these pagers, was relatively low technology, high on intelligence, high on the human intelligence side, but very low on technology. But the important thing about it that was significant is it was part of a bigger strategy, so it was effective. The strategy was essentially to disable and create disarray in the Hezbollah leadership. And if you create disarray and disorient the Hezbollah leadership, then you can take advantage using non-technological means, meaning more conventional means from the air. So they used, I think the message I've been getting across here at the conference in Poznan is that technology, to be effective, has to be a servant of strategy. And I think in this case, because it was part of a broader strategic logic that Israel had to disable and to dismantle and to degrade Hezbollah, it was very effective, even though it was low technology. It was not high technology.
So you, based on what you've just said, your perspective regarding the recent incident regarding the pagers in Lebanon is that the Israelis haven't used an advanced level of technology to explode the pagers.
No, they used you're exactly right. They used a high level of intelligence gathering, intelligence penetration.
So it was more intelligence, penetration, rather than...
No, it was all, obviously there was the mechanical piece of how they were able to use the devices themselves, but it was the ability to do that really came from intelligence rather than any kind of high-level technological achievement.
Brilliant. And the final question, do you think we'll have a battle of technologies in the future or a battle of strategies? Can they be used interchangeably, or can we use technology to improve the strategies in this region, or can we use the strategies combined with technology? So how do you see that?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. In the book that's forthcoming on Iranian foreign policy, I actually talk about the battle of strategies, different strategies. Not so much using technology, but different strategies in terms of economics and so forth. I think ideally states will be using AI, and as I mentioned earlier, nesting it as part of their strategic framework and letting the strategy, the politically sophisticated strategies, use technology to enhance the probability of success. But the other thing I have to say is that if we're only looking at state at the ability for individual states, let's say Iran and Israel or Iran and Saudi Arabia, to individually use technologies as a battle of strategies, I think it's problematic because what the region needs, as I mentioned in the talk this morning, what the region needs is more using AI and using technology for collective security, for regional security, because the Middle East has a deficit in terms of a regional security architecture. And hopefully AI, rather than a battle of strategies, they can converge to come up with the ability for AI to enable regional architecture effectiveness in the Middle East.